Greetings wherever you are. This evening or this time, we want to talk about copyright. We want to talk about copyright. I am going to be your instructor by name Mark Maxwell. I'll be your host. In case you are just joining, kindly, I have acknowledged you. You can like, you can share, so that others will also benefit from this lesson. The topic is the copyright, so we want to learn, comprehend, and understand what copyright is, how copyright can help us, especially those who delve into the digital aspect of it. So welcome once again. The topic is copyright, and I'll be your host, I'll be your instructor for this very topic. Before we delve into it, before we understand or we go deep into what copyright is, we want to look at objectives for this topic, copyright. What we want to achieve by the end of the lesson, copyright. What we want to achieve by the end of the lesson, copyright. So let's look at the objective. We have about 5 objectives to achieve by the end of this lesson. I've set 5 objectives to achieve, and all of us are going to achieve this by the end of this lesson. So objective number one, by the end of this lesson, we will be able to define and understand the concept of copyright. So that is number 1. We have to be able to define and understand the concept of copyright. Objective number 2, we have to understand what copyright infringement is. Copyright infringement and effect of infringing upon copyright. What happens when you infringe upon copyright? So you understand copyright infringement, and then what happens when you infringe upon copyright. Then objective number 3, reasons for copyright protection. Reasons for copyright protection. That is objective number 3. Reasons for copyright protection. And then objective number 4, we will be looking at products that requires copyright protection or products that merit copyright protection. And then we will also be looking at copyright law in Ghana. We will also be looking at copyright law in Ghana. Thank you very much once again. Remember, the topic is copyright. The topic is the copyright, and we have 5 objectives to achieve. Before we can delve into copyright very well, for you to understand what copyright is, we have to understand some keywords. Okay, we have to understand some keywords. These keywords are going to help us to further understand copyright. These keywords are going to help us to further understand what copyright is. The very keyword that I want us to look at is copyright itself. What does it mean when we say copyright? The second keyword that we will be looking at is piracy. What is piracy? What does it mean? Piracy. Then the third keyword that we will be focusing on is patent. Patent is the third keyword that we will be focusing on. Then from there we move to what we call trademark. From there we will move to what we call trademark. Please note, kindly take note of this. Please, with due respect, take note of this. When we are looking at these key terms, its objective is to help you, or to help us understand the full or the comprehension of copyright. It helps us to understand copyright. Okay, the keywords is going to allow us, or to help us to understand what copyright is. We will have that full comprehension of what copyright. So let's take the keywords one after the other. So the first thing is what? Copyright. Copyright itself. What is copyright? Copyright, you might see it in different kind of materials, giving you different meaning, different understanding, but the only thing that copyright is talking about is a legal right. A legal right that is given to an individual to rightfully owns his artwork or creativity as the creator or the originator of that artwork. Is it clear? So a right, a legal right that is given to you as an individual to own something as the creator of it or the originator of that particular thing is what we call copyright. Is it clear? Many countries adopted the concept of copyright just to give the creator of an original work the exclusive right to that work, usually for a limited period or a limited time. Okay, usually for a limited period or a limited time. Copyright is not for life. It's not forever. It's having some kind of limit on it. And usually this right is given to these individuals by the state or by the government. Okay, this right is usually given to them by the state or by the government. Now the next thing is piracy. What is it when we are talking about piracy? Piracy is just the reproduction of software or an artwork which are sold at a cheaper price without permission of the originator or the creator. Okay, so when you grab somebody's artwork, or somebody's creativity, and you're able to duplicate it, and you are now selling it at a cheaper price, that act of yours is what we refer to as piracy. That act of yours is what we normally referred to as piracy. Okay, so when you grab somebody's artwork or somebody's creativity or somebody's software, and whether music or whatever that it could be, and you're able to reproduce that artwork and you are now selling it at a cheaper price, that act or that behavior of yours is what we normally refer to as piracy. Okay, for instance, some times ago in Ghana, this is what some people do for a living, where they will go and grab movies, buy empty disc, burn it on it, and be selling on the street, and the police have to come in to enforce the law and then to stop it, and I believe it has been stopped. So this act, this behaviors, this attitude is what we normally call piracy. Reproduction of software or an artwork which are sold at a cheaper price without permission of the originator or the creator. Now the next keyword that I want us to look at is what we call patent. What do we mean by patent? What do we mean by patent? What do we mean? What is it? Patent. When we are looking at patent is just a form of intellectual property right that gives its owners the legal right or that exclusive right to exclude others or some people from using or selling or making copies of a particular product. That document or that legal document or form is normally what we refer to as patent. Okay, so when we are talking about patent is just a legal form, a form of intellectual property right that gives its owners the legal right to exclude others or some people from using a particular product, selling it, or making copies of that particular product. This form, or this form of a right, or this form of a document, or this form of power that is given to that person to do that, to exclude people, is normally the patents that we have been talking about. Now, when you look at our national televisions or the radios, you hear that this drink or this medicine or this product is not good for pregnant women, is not good for minors or people underage, blah 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 blah. You see, this behavior or this act of excluding people, it's a right given to them. It's intellectual right that is given to the owner of that intellectual artwork, okay, to exclude others from using that product. That is what we call patent. Now, the next thing we want to talk about here as a keyword is a trademark. What then is a trademark? Before I come in, or before we look at the actual meaning or what a trademark is, let's look at scenarios concerning some companies. You know, some companies they have this symbols, they have this identity, form of identity, something unique that identifies them. Once you see it, you see that, oh, this is this organization, this is this organization. For instance, Nike, Apple, Adidas. You see, once you look at their label, their logo, their description, then you know that this is for this person, this is for this organization, or this is for that. Exactly. So that's all those things that identify organizations or companies falls under what we call a trademark. So when we are talking about a trademark, it's just any symbol, word or words. I'm talking about word because it can just be a name like Apple. Words, it can be names, it can be words like different words put together, okay, in a form of a phrase, but it's not having a meaning, therefore it's not a phrase. Exactly. A name like let's say Apple, then Mac, exactly, being put together. Mac is a brand, okay, which also belongs to Apple, if I'm not mistaken, pardon me, but I'm just giving an example. Name of something that is put to just some words put together, but it's not having actual meaning. It's not a name of any person, which is not having any actual meaning. So when they are put together to identify the company or an organization, it can be described as words. Okay, so we said trademark is any symbol, word or words, or phrase. It is a phrase because some group of words or one or two words coming together which gives meaning becomes what? A phrase. For instance, University of the People. You see, University of the People is a phrase and it's having a meaning. For instance, University of Legon, for instance, St. Mark's Educational Complex. You see, these are phrases, and we also have a logo. Okay, a logo here is just any symbol or any design, okay, any unique design that represents that company. Usually in Ghana here, our logos are all in a form of a school badge and this kind of stuff. So these things are registered under a copyright to represent a company or an organization as its intellectual property right. Okay, so this is what we call a trademark. Remember, we said a trademark is any symbol, word or words, or phrase or logo that is registered under copyright to represent a company or an organization, exactly, as its intellectual property right. So these are the keywords. Remember the keywords we've looked at. Copyright, we've looked at piracy, we've looked at patent, and we've looked at trademark. Okay, we've looked at trademark. So let's proceed. Now let's look at, so we are done with the first objective. We've done with the first objective, which is what? Defining and understanding the concept of what? Copyright. Defining and understanding what? The concept of copyright. So we said a legal right given to an individual to rightfully owns his artwork or his creativity as the originator or the creator of it. And this right, which is a copyright, is adopted by many countries to give the creator of an original work the exclusive right to the work, usually for a limited period or a limited what? Time. So we will go deep. When we come back to the law itself, we will look at some of those things. So the next thing we want to look at is what we call copyright infringement, which is objective 2. So when we check our objectives, the second objective is what? Understanding copyright infringement and its effect. As in, when you infringe upon copyright, what is the effect of infringing upon copyright? That is what we want to look at here. That is the objective we want to look at here. Copyright infringement. What, to infringe upon something or to infringe just means to break something, okay? Breaking some standard of protocols or some standard of principles. So here, when we are talking about copyright infringement, it's just breaking the rules and regulations of that governs copyright. Is it clear? So copyright infringement is the breaking of rules and regulations that governs copyright. So when you found someone doing something that breaks or that it's not supported of copyright, that action or that behavior, we usually refer it to copyright infringement. Is it clear? So breaking the rules and regulations that governs copyright is what we call copyright infringement. Now let's look at the effect of copyright infringement. What happens when you break the rules and regulations that governs what? Copyright. What happens? Do you just go scot-free? Do you just break the rules that governs copyright? Do you just pick somebody's property and then do anything that you want to do with it without the person's permission and go scot-free? Now let's look at what happens when you break copyright rules and regulations, as in when you infringe upon copyright. Exactly what happened, the effect of copyright infringement. 1, you will be in prison. Yes, when you break the rules and regulations that govern copyright, you will be in prison. When the person forward you or when the regulatory body get to know that this person has infringed upon copyright, they come for you. You go behind bars. You'll be jailed for some number of years or months or days. Yes, you'll be in prison. 2, you'll be fined. Fining here means that not as usual, how are you, I am fine. You will be forced to pay some amount of money against your will, okay? And it comes with strange conditions, as in if you don't pay it on time, you can be killed, you can be prosecuted, you can this will happen to you. So, and all these things are done by the law enforcing bodies, okay? All these things are done by the law enforcing what? Bodies. So when you infringe upon copyright and the law get hold of you, you'll be in prison, okay? You'll be fined. Fining, we are saying that what? You will be levied some, or you will be forced to pay some amount of money against your will. It's not whether you like it or not. You'll be forced to pay with some strange condition. Conditions are always attached to it. The third thing that happens when you infringe upon copyright is what? The items or at times even your properties, because it is assumed that those properties, maybe you've acquired them through this illegal means. Is it clear? Those properties maybe has been acquired through illegal means, so the properties might also be seized. the items will be seized, the properties might be seized, or the products will be seized. So these are some of the effects of infringing upon copyright, or doing what copyright is not you are not going by the rules and regulations that govern copyright. Maybe taking somebody's property without the person's permission, and then you are using it to benefit you or some other stuff. Some of the things will be seized. Is it clear? Now, as we are done with the understanding copyright infringement and its effect, let's look at reasons for copyright protection. Reasons for copyright protection. Why copyright? Why can't just allow anybody to do whatever that he wants to do? Why copyright? That is what we want to look at. Why copyright? Reasons for copyright protection. One good reason for copyright protection is what? It promotes new intellectual work. Is it clear? It promotes new intellectual work. What do we mean by it promoting new intellectual work? For instance, once somebody is honored of creating something or originating something, people around them will also try hard to bring something new to solve a problem, so that they can also be recognized and be honored. So it promotes new intellectual work. So that is one reasons why we need copyright, to protect our artwork or our creativity. Another reason for copyright protection is to promote healthy competition. So to promote healthy competition, Another good reason for copyright protection is to promote healthy competition, not just a competition, but a healthy competition. As in, you brought in something, and I have the mentality that what you've brought, I can build something super to overpowers your own to solve more problems. For instance, somebody building a school management system, where after building the school management system, he couldn't add student transcripts or student reports to it. Okay, so I've realized that, okay, I can build that, I can include something. So, okay, I also build a school management system, but I will be adding student reports. I will allow parents to be able to access their kids' performance and take track of whatever that is happening to them. You see, this kind of things comes in, and everybody will be like, Charlie, let me do something very, very creative, something creative, but not just creative, but will also help to solve problems. Is it clear? Either to solve problems by entertaining people, or to help people with any other stuff. For instance, for another example, is when this corona outbreak came in, a lot of people are trying to build devices or gadgets that will help you to wash your hand, sanitize your hand, and do a lot of stuff without maybe you having a physical contact with the tool or with the item. And the item is usually attached with, let's say, sensors or other things that will be able to detect movement. Okay, so that is a very good reason for copyright protection, to promote healthy competition. Another one is to promote what? Development. That is another good reason for copyright protection. Why promoting development? Because when items are being monitored, these originators or creators are being honored or recognized in the community. Everybody